Good afternoon, I'm Nick Altmeyer with linkinglewiscounty.com, and I'm here this afternoon with Ryan Piche, Lewis County Manager, and we're here for our monthly interview where we talk a little bit about what's going to be going on at the upcoming Board of Legislature meeting and just some other things that are going on around the county. So this week, Tuesday night, we have a Board of Legislature meeting. It's going to be at 5 p.m. right here in the second floor board chambers at the courthouse in Lowville. 4 p.m. there's going to be a public hearing or a presentation from Public Health, kind of going over their 5-year new strategic plan and some other things like that on the agenda. So I guess our first topic is one of the first resolutions is opening up certain roadways for the SNRT Run. The SNRT Run is going to be on April 21st, and this is just kind of common practice that these are some of the roads that get opened up on every year.
Correct. Similar resolution that we've seen year over year with the SNRT Run event that we host here in Lewis County. Good opportunity for us to talk about the importance of outdoor recreation and tourism to our economy here, and so we absolutely, as long as it's safe and it's done correctly, we welcome all that activity in Lewis County.
Okay, so again, the SNRT Run is going to be on the 21st, and if everything goes as planned at the meeting tomorrow night, there will be approval opening up the roads, the county roads that are needed to make this event go off successfully. Another resolution that we're looking at here is, this one looks like it's being reintroduced. We had it on the agenda at one of the meetings toward the end of last year. It was our meeting in Harrisville. I just don't remember which month that was. Anyway, it's for authorizing a special counsel agreement with Simmons, Hanley, and Conroy LLC to bring a lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies for damages associated with the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
The first time this was up, the resolution didn't pass. We have some new board members now, so this is being reintroduced, and if you had any updates on what was going on with that situation.
Yeah, basically a very similar resolution to the one that we put forward at the end of 2017 that wasn't successful. Since then, the class action suit has moved forward quite a bit, and more counties have joined. So I think perhaps there's some new interest from the Board of Legislators to put this up for a vote and see where everybody stands. So I look at it very similar to some of the tobacco lawsuits that were put forward in the 90s and 2000s. And for us, it could be an interesting opportunity to get some money back. We've spent a lot of money on these community services that the opioid epidemic has put a strain on our system, and so if we can get some money back and help offset those costs, that's what this legislation would do. On the other hand, I know that some of the board members have some fundamental issues with suing people and the litigation happy nature of our society. So we'll see where they fall on it.
Okay. So that will be up again on tomorrow night's agenda as well. We also, obviously, it was a week ago Friday when we were in here for the big press conference announcing the Memorandum of Understanding with JCC. So we see that that's a resolution number 40/2018 is authorizing and ratifying the MOU and Release Agreement with JCC for the Education Center. So I know we covered this a lot last week when we were here for the press conference, but just wanted to note that was on the agenda, and it looks like, I know some papers were signed on last Friday, but this is more of a
so this is more of a housekeeping measure. Back in 2017, earlier in the year 2017, the board decided to set aside that $4 million, and specifically where that $4 million for construction was going to come from. So this resolution is just moving that money into the proper account, as we did last year, so that we're prepared for construction and moving the project forward.
Okay, so that's authorizing the payment, but there's also a resolution in the packet here for authorizing and ratifying the MOU
Correct.
Release Agreement.
Yep.
So that's just the technicality of, I think the board chairman signed the paperwork.
It was everything signed on Friday was contingent upon board ratification.
Okay.
So it's
so this is
a
the
formality.
Formality of getting all the paperwork signed and
Correct.
the I's dotted and the
And
T's
it's
crossed.
important to note that we're not talking about the lease agreement. We're not talking about some of the specifics of the project. The MOU just gets us off and running. So.
Okay. All right. Again, we said there's going to be a presentation starting at 4 p.m. with Public Health. And then we also have a resolution number 50/2018 in the packet is authorizing and adopting the Public Health Strategic Plan. I know that you worked on that committee that developed the strategic plan for public health. So I didn't know if you had some highlights of the plan and what were some of public health's goals over the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for public health. It seems to me that there's a lot of changes happening in the way that communities are approaching their public health, and this new 5-year plan puts us more in line with the state's priorities and the national priorities. We're moving more away from the clinical aspect of public health and more looking at community health as a whole, and the social and environmental determinants of public health. So kind of taking a broader approach to public health, and those priorities and that shift is evident in the new 5-year plan.
Okay. Resolution 60/2018 was to create an additional full-time staff at the Sheriff's Office, which is actually a dispatcher position. I know we talked a little bit beforehand about how the part-time employees, the part-time dispatch employees, were kind of actually working full-time hours. There's a lot of overtime going into that department, and this resolution is kind of making one of those part-timers a full-timer, and which basically just makes it smarter to they're working the full-time hours, they're getting the benefits now because they are exceeding that hour cap. So this is kind of a technicality just to actually turn that position into a full-time position.
Correct. Yeah, we actually had a few different dispatchers down there that are part-timers, but we're already working close to full-time and hitting that 30-hour threshold where they could be eligible for benefits. So in order to actually, the smart thing to do is to create a full-time employee rather than have multiple part-time employees working over 30 hours and eligible for benefits. So it was the logical move.
All right. In Resolution 65/2018, this is something that we covered last week as well, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about it a little bit because it's a pilot program where Lewis County is once again leading the way, but it's the agreement with the Development Authority of the North Country on the mattress recycling program.
Yes, excuse me, an interesting project in cooperation with the Development Authority of the North Country. To this point, we haven't done any mattress recycling in the North Country. They've just go into our landfills and take up a lot of space and are really hard on the equipment that move things around in the landfill because of the springs and all of that mess. So the Development Authority actually found a vendor who would take mattresses and break them down and recycle the component parts. And Lewis County, being good partners with the authority, are going to help them out with that pilot project. And the mattresses for now are going to come from Lewis County, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, and once again, tomorrow night's meeting is at 5 p.m. right here in the second floor at the old courthouse here in Lowville, second floor legislative chambers. Was there anything else that we didn't get to that you thought was important for tomorrow night's meeting?
I don't think so, no. Thanks for having us, Nick.
Yeah. Well, once again, we encourage everybody to come on out and see your government and work. And if you have anything that you need to comment on or anything like that, there's always a public comment period as well. So hope to see you all out at tomorrow night's board meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.